What's up, guys? It's Space Sloth here, back with a brand new video here. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about generally the state of gaming, where game developers are headed, and with the recent reveal of Titanfall 2, I feel like a lot of people are actually pretty disappointed. And I wanted to say why gaming companies have changed over the course of, I guess, the last 5 years. Companies that are involved in gaming just don't care about the gamer. When we look at ourselves, we look at ourselves as gamers and them as the developers. But instead, we should start looking at ourselves as the consumer and them the corporate, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We're the consumer and they're the producer. So they want to get the most out of their money. Recently, I was introduced to the philosophy of selling a solution, not a product. And these companies are selling a product, not a solution. We're looking for fun games we can play with our friends and enjoy ourselves. Yet we haven't had games like that in a while, and the selection that we do have are very limited. I think there's maybe 4 to 5 out there today, and even Call of Duty has fell down in the slumps. And despite it being a lot of people hate it now, it used to be that game. It used to be the game that all your buddies could hop on on a weekend and have some fun and kick some ass. But it's not the same anymore. And I think the reason behind that is that these games are being just overhyped, and they're being overstuffed with things we don't need. A perfect example of this is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky had so much hype behind it. It promised infinite exploration, infinite this, infinite that. But it was a fucking flop. It was a bigger letdown than fucking The Division. It was terrible. They promised this infinite expansion where you get to explore with your friends and multiplayer and blah blah blah. Yet during the interviews when the main developer was talking about No Man's Sky, it was revealed that there's no fucking multiplayer, there's no story. And after playing it firsthand, I could safely say that No Man's Sky is trash. Sure, it looks pretty and it has a bunch of worlds and the soundtrack is good, but there's nothing outside of that. Cool, the soundtrack's it looks nice, but what's the fun in it? There's nothing fun about it. You think I want to explore the 30 octillion planets that are randomly generated by some bullshit thing? The animals look weird. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like an exploration game. And yet there are people defending No Man's Sky saying it takes a deeper mind to enjoy it. And the answer is no, it doesn't. There's nothing to enjoy. It's just a pretty thing to look. It's like a nice looking girl with no personality, no depth, no nothing. There's nothing to offer. There's no character development. There's no gameplay development. It gets repetitive really, really quick. There's nothing to enjoy. There's nothing there's nothing enjoyable about it. The aspects of the game which are supposed to be enjoyable are nothing but shortcomings for the actual game. There's nothing to give any No Man's Sky any value. So these games that are overhyped and so quote-unquote stuffed with content, what does that mean? Well, it simply means that sometimes it's not about the content that's in the game, but rather how it's played out. A perfect example of this is Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is basically a co-op multiplayer game. There's no campaign. And the short campaign they have is technically the tutorials, but that's not really a campaign. It is really tutorials showing you the different characters from Thermite to Sledge to Mute, a bunch of other things. There's no real campaign in this game, yet despite not having a campaign, it does surprisingly well. It has a very loyal fan base. From my experience, it's really fun, and trust me, I am not the best Siege player, but this game is really fun. It's enjoyable, the characters are enjoyable, the maps are beautifully designed, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and the gameplay is different every time, because you think you might have the upper hand in one situation, and then you see another character or operator just shine brightly and take care of the team. And that's why Rainbow Six Siege is an enjoyable game. I know in my last video I was shitting on it, but Rainbow Six Siege, despite all its shortcomings, which it does have some, because every game has their problems, is still a relatively very enjoyable game to play and a really fun game to play with your friends. The learning curve is immense, but it's fun. The learning curve is immense. It's there. It's not like you pick this game up and you're gonna destroy everyone, because this game is extremely different from other shooters. It's not like Call of Duty. It's not like Titanfall. It might have elements of Call of Duty, it might have elements of Titanfall, it might have elements of Counter-Strike. When I think of this game, I think of a mix of Counter-Strike, Source, and hardcore Battlefield 4 or 3 or 2, what a bad company, whatever you want to have had a baby. This would be the product. It's not that easy. It's hard, and the learning curve is there. But yet having just a couple of maps and a couple of operators, and it's really just a simple multiplayer hostage, secure the area, or search and destroy game types, it's still really fun and still does relatively well at keeping the player enjoying the game. Another game that does really well on this, with just literally only multiplayer, is Overwatch. Overwatch has an insane following, and of course it's Blizzard's baby child. But let's be real here, is that Overwatch delivers. Overwatch has multiplayer. It's the only thing they focused at. They refined the multiplayer. They added so many things to the multiplayer. It's enjoyable. And people argue that although Overwatch has little, as what some people argue, I think Overwatch does have lacks a little in content. Yet I still find myself every day playing Overwatch because it's addicting, it's fun, and it's an enjoyable game. The characters are likable and enjoyable. The voice lines make the game fun. The skins are cool, and they are actually listening to the community in terms of the complaints from characters like Genji, or, well, I hate Mei, but they're buffing Mei even more. And all the things they're talking about is they're only focusing on making the game better. And just despite only having multiplayer, it's doing surprisingly well. So that says something. If these games start to only have multiplayer, and there are games which I will mention that only have single player, which are amazing, then what the hell is going on with these AA companies trying to pop in campaign, trying to pop in some extra shit? Cool, campaign, multiplayer, bam, $60 AA title. In my honest opinion, I do not mind dishing out $60 for an only multiplayer game if the content is enjoyable and it has replay value. If the game has replay value, then I will play it. A single player game that had a replay value in my eyes, that I enjoyed and I loved and I thought was just beautifully designed in every aspect, and it stands to date as one of my most favorite games of all times, is Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is such a well done game. Its story, its gameplay, the atmosphere it creates, the fluidity of the game is amazing. The design for the xenomorph, the design for each of the enemies, and the soundtrack, and the atmosphere, and the fucking Nostromo, and the ship are so fucking well done. And all they fucking have is single player. And sure, they have that stupid little below zero survival crap. But even that was fun, and I liked that. It was basically testing your wits, and then they added the difficulties, and the difficulties feel so much more hard. It's not like the enemy. It's not like the xenomorph. Fucking, of course, the xenomorph one shot kills you. How do you make something that one shot kills you even harder? You make it that much more intense. You make the resources more limited. You make the atmosphere that much harder, and you don't make the xenomorph stronger. You make the enemies smarter, and that's what Alien Isolation did. It's such a fucking well done. In my honest opinion, fucking godsend game. It's one of my favorite single-player games. So, with that being said, let's look at games which stuff their video game with content, but failed to fucking deliver. And games that did that are everywhere. Let's just take a look at a couple. I'm gonna name a couple. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is the perfect fucking example. Campaign was mediocre. The multiplayer, mediocre. The zombie campaign, that was cool, but it was mediocre as well. Zombies, below average. Infinite Warfare will most likely be the same. Mediocre, mediocre, and mediocre. These games are now just not, they're not making games to sell. I mean, they're not making games to please, they're making games to sell. And that's the problem here. These developers aren't making these games fun. They're not revolving around, they're focused on making these games super fucking competitive because they want these games to be competitive. And that's another reason why communities have literally died. The Call of Duty community has literally died because everyone wants to be fucking competitive. Everyone wants to fucking emulate Scumpy and some bullshit optic fag that no one gives a damn about because we're in 2016. But these guys, this idea of competitive masculism, whatever the fuck you want to call it, this competitive attitude that everyone has, that everyone wants to be the fucking best, is still bullshit because the simple fact of the matter is, congratulations, you won in a game of Call of Duty. You're never gonna be the greatest fucking Call of Duty player. It's depressing. It's this competitive ego that everyone has, which has ripped communities inside and out. And I think game developers need to stray away from competitive and start listening back to the fans. Games are trying to listen to the competitive side, and I think the simple fact of the matter is they need to stop that. They need to start listening to the casual fan base. I know a lot of people are gonna argue that, oh, if you're bad, you shouldn't play the game, but the truth is, none of you are competitive. You guys may think, oh, I'm good at the game. You're not competitive. The competitive ideals don't sit well with the casual players. For example, in Overwatch, and this is probably one of the faults, it was with competitive play. Now, competitive play, there's nothing wrong with the actual competitive play, but the ranking system is actually broken. People prefer a numbered system versus a ladder system like League of Legends. League of Legends has these bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and then grandmaster ranks. In this game, it's not about tiers. It's more or less the numbers and then the top 500. Whoever's top 500 gets the fucking little white emblem on their name and all that stuff. But in this game, it's numbers, and we found out as casual players that it's not that fun. If anything, for the better casual player, it's broken because it rewards players that abuse the system. What people would do is they get their level ranked 20 friends to play with them to make them the underdog, and they'd win immense amounts of points. And it's actually fucking sad that people do that. People that don't matter in the competitive scene are actually doing that kind of stupid bullshit, and it just hurts the game. It just hurts these games in general. And then lastly, developers are just ignoring the fans. Sometimes they're literally just blatantly ignoring the fans. People, especially with Titanfall 2, are complaining about, oh, if you don't get your Titans just by doing nothing. Well, I made a video discussing how Titans, you should be good, you should be rewarded to get your Titans, because even if you're bad and you get a Titan, you'll get one kill, cool. But if you're a skilled player, you'll do more with the Titan than someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with the Titan. It's almost like Battlefield 4. Anyone can get in a tank, anyone can get a kill, but not a lot of people can actually successfully master a tank. If you've ever played Battlefield, you fought someone who knows how to operate almost all the vehicles. I know on PC, a lot of you PC players are well aware of this, but on console, it's like a fucking nightmare, because there's some very good tank drivers on fucking console. There's some very good helicopter pilots on PC and console. It's immense. The learning curve for these games, it's fine if there's learning curves. It's fine. But they need to stop listening to these fucking competitive guys and start listening back to the fans. Because the competitive scene makes 1% of the fucking game. And the other 99% are the casual players who just want to have fun and play with their friends. That's all I really gotta say. I hope developers, especially for Battlefield 1, I'm praying Battlefield 1's amazing. I hope they don't fuck it up. But I hope Titanfall 2 gets resolved. I know a lot of people don't like the Titan system in that game currently. But we will have to see it for what they do. My name's Base Law. That's been all. Take care.
Watch this.
My ultimate is ready.
The payload is on the way.
30 seconds remaining.
Much better.
Thank you.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm on fire. 不洗澡。
Victory. Play of the game.